This beautiful and elegant cowl is made using the Tunisian Crochet fan lace stitch, and although the pattern looks quite complicated, it is in fact easy to do and works up quite quickly. And as you can see, a lightweight multicoloured yarn suits the project perfectly. And this project was perfect for a yarn I picked up in a charity shop made by King Cole called Riot Double Knitting, or DK. DK is the British weight of yarn. The US equivalent would be light worsted or category 3 light. As you can see from the yarn label, the recommended knitting needle or hook size is 4mm, but to accentuate the laciness of the fabric I used a 7mm 14-inch long Tunisian crochet hook. I also used a 4mm ordinary crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a darning needle for sewing in at loose ends, a tape measure and a stitch marker. The Tunisian fan lace stitch requires a multiple of 6 plus 3. I'm aiming to create a cowl that is around 10 inches wide, so for that I'm going to chain 33. Now I have a chain of 33, I'm creating a Tunisian crochet foundation row, and the link to the video of how to do that is above. I chained 33, so I should have 33 loops on the hook, and it is essential to check the number of loops for this stitch. And indeed there are 33 loops. Chain 1 and mark the last stitch of the forward pass with a stitch marker. And now for an ordinary Tunisian crochet return pass. Here is the completed Tunisian crochet foundation row, and I'm just going to check the length. That is 11 inches. Now for the forward pass for the fan lace stitch. The loop on the hook counts as the first stitch. Now do a Tunisian crochet simple stitch into the next stitch, skip 2 stitches. Now for 5 Tunisian double crochet stitches into the next stitch, as in the knit stitch. So yarn over, insert the hook between the front and back vertical bars, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. This is the first Tunisian double crochet stitch. Now 4 more of these into the same space, so yarn over, insert the hook as in the knit stitch between the front and back vertical bars, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now there are 2 double crochet stitches into that one space. Do 3 more double crochet stitches into the space to create a fan of 5 double crochets. And here is the first fan. Skip the next 2 stitches and do a Tunisian crochet simple stitch into the stitch after that. Skip the next 2 stitches and now create another fan of 5 Tunisian double crochet stitches into the next stitch. And this is the second fan completed. and just continue skipping 2, then 1 simple stitch, skipping 2, and then a fan of 5. When the 5th fan has been completed, skip the next 2 stitches and do a Tunisian crochet simple stitch into the last but 1 stitch, and then do another Tunisian crochet simple stitch into the marked stitch at the end. So that is the first forward pass of the fan lace stitch completed. And at this stage it is worth counting the number of loops on the hook. There should be 33. Now chain 1, mark the last stitch, and now do a normal Tunisian crochet return pass. Now completing the return pass, and this is the fan lace for the first row. Now for the second row, so into the second stitch from the end goes a half fan. For this I'm going to put in 3 double crochet stitches. So yarn over, insert the hook between the front and back vertical bars, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that is the first Tunisian double crochet stitch, and insert 2 more double crochets into the same space to create the half fan. And this is what it looks like. Skip the next 2 stitches and then put a Tunisian simple stitch into the stitch after that, and that is the middle one of the underlying fan. Skip the next 2 stitches and then put 5 Tunisian double crochet stitches into the underlying simple stitch. Skip the next 2 stitches and then put a simple stitch into the middle stitch of the underlying fan, and yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, and then do a fan of 5 double crochets into the next stitch, and keep going with fans of 5, skipping 2, a simple stitch, skipping 2, a fan of 5 until 4 fans have been completed. And skip 2 stitches, do a simple stitch into the next stitch, skip 2 more stitches, and then do a half fan into the second stitch from the end. So yarn over, insert the hook into the space between the front and back vertical bars, yarn over, then pull through 2 loops, and do 2 more Tunisian double crochet stitches into the same space. And that is the half fan completed. Now do a simple stitch into the marked stitch at the end. And as always, it is worth checking there are the right number of loops on the hook, and that should be 33. Now chain 1, mark the space and do a normal return pass. This is the first two rows of the fan lace, and you can see the nice staggered pattern of the fans. So the third row is going to be the same as the first row, so one simple stitch into the next stitch, skip 2, and then a fan of 5 into the underlying simple stitch, skip 2, do a simple stitch, etc. So one forward pass will start with a simple stitch, and the next forward pass will start with the half fan, and then the next row after that will start with simple stitch, etc. And keep going until the cowl is of the required length. In this case I want to make a cowl that is 25 inches or thereabouts long. So this is the final return pass, and when that is completed I'm going to measure the fabric to check the length. The length is 25 inches, and I shall now join the ends together. I personally like cowls with a twist, so I'm going to introduce one twist and slip stitch the ends together using a 4mm crochet hook. The first stitch is into the space to the left of the vertical bar of the top row on the other side. Yarn with a hook and pull through both loops. So I'm now effectively going to do a forward pass using slip stitch, joining both sides together. The next stitch will be by pushing the hook under the next vertical bar, and then through the corresponding stitch on the opposite side. And just keep working along the edges of the fabric until both ends are joined. This is the last stitch. Pull the yarn through all the loops. It is worth securing the final loop with a stitch marker just to check that the ends meet neatly, which they do, and then the yarn can be cut. The advantage with slip stitching is that there is one continuous piece of yarn, so the project can be unravelled if there are any issues that need attending to. The loose ends of yarn can now be secured with a darning needle. And here is the completed fan lace cowl with a twist. Very elegant and really attractive.